Hey, I'm Ruby. I'm almost 14. I used to spend hours on this forum called The Quiet Room. It was a place for teenagers to share their stories. Like this girl, April, who said her parents thought she was ugly her whole life. But the ending of the story completely shocked me. And Wendy's story was totally insane. One day, some weird billionaire basically rented her whole family. Then they ended up hiding out and living in a supermarket. There were tons of stories like that on the forum. Kids supported each other and offered advice. But I never posted anything myself. I figured all those stories were fake, and I just read them to escape reality for a while. That night, I was about to open a story from a guy named Charlie. Suddenly, the door flew open, and my older sister Maddie walked in.
Ruby, have you seen what time it is? Go to sleep!
Last summer, our parents went away for a weekend trip to the mountains and never came back. They got caught in a landslide. After that, everything changed. Maddie had to take care of me. And on top of that, there was work, bills, paperwork. She was only 20, but sometimes she looked like she'd already lived 100 years. So I wasn't mad at her. I knew Maddie was struggling, but I was struggling too. And I felt really lonely. I guess that's why I spent so much of my time on The Quiet Room. The next day, I finally read Charlie's story. He wrote that he had a girlfriend named Ophelia. She was the daughter of a powerful prison warden. Her father controlled her entire life. But one day, Ophelia stood up to him. After that, she disappeared. Charlie wrote that the police weren't doing anything. Everyone was scared of the prison warden because Nicholas Prescott had connections everywhere. So, Charlie was trying to find Ophelia on his own, if she was even still alive. This story is giving me the chills, though it's probably fake too. Before long, summer arrived. The anniversary of our parents' death was getting closer, and because of that, my sister was stressed all the time. Then, one day, she suddenly told me she was sending me to a girls' camp. The look on my face made it pretty obvious I wasn't thrilled, so Maddie softened a little. Ruby, I know you need me right now, but I have this really important project at work. Just give me a little time. After that, we'll do something together. I promise. We needed to hold on to what was left of our family, so I didn't argue. Okay, I'll go to camp. But I definitely wasn't expecting the camp to be inside an old prison. There were girls everywhere, none of them older than 15, and somehow nobody else seemed weirded out by it. Then the owner of the camp came out to greet us, Fanny Hatter.
Welcome, girls. This is my assistant, Agnes. As for me, you can just call me Fanny. I'll do my best to become a true friend to all of you.
Everyone seemed hypnotized by her smile, but to me, Fanny felt fake.
I grew up in a very strict family. I spent my whole childhood dreaming about freedom, and now I want to give that freedom to other girls. There are no rules here, and don't worry about the camp being in such a strange place. The old prison building was just incredibly cheap.
We ate in the prisoners' cafeteria, slept in former jail cells, and the playground was built in what used to be the prison yard. But Fanny was telling the truth about one thing. There really were no rules here. We could stuff ourselves with ice cream and stay up all night if we wanted to. Fanny acts like some magical fairy godmother, but animals on farms get treated well too, right before they get turned into steaks. Something about the place felt wrong, so I decided to call Maddie and ask her to take me home. But my sister didn't answer. One day passed, then another, and I started panicking. It had started out exactly the same way with our parents too. First they stopped answering their phones, then we got the news that they were dead. My mind immediately went to the worst possible scenarios. What if Maddie got into a car accident or slipped in the tub? I didn't wait any longer. I quite literally escaped from the prison. Luckily, the gates were open and there wasn't even anyone in the guard booth. I got on a bus and made it back home. I searched every single room, but my sister was nowhere to be found. Then I noticed Maddie's laptop. I knew it was wrong, but I still opened it and read her messages to a friend. And do you know what I found out? Maddie had left to sign away her custody of me and find an orphanage for me to live in. Tears started running down my face. I felt like an abandoned kitten that had become too difficult to take care of. Then suddenly, someone knocked on the door.
There's our little runaway.
With that perfect smile glued to her face, Fanny looked like some plastic Barbie doll. And standing behind her like a storm cloud was Agnes. I'm not going back to that camp!
Sweetheart, that's not your decision to make. You're in my custody now.
The next second, Agnes grabbed my arm and dragged me to their car. And that's how I ended up back at the camp. Fanny clapped her hands and called all the girls into the cafeteria.
My darlings, I created this paradise just for you, which is why I am deeply hurt that Ruby tried to run away. So, unfortunately, I'll have to punish her. Ruby will spend the next 24 hours in the solitary room.
Agnes grabbed my wrist again and dragged me downstairs into what looked like a dungeon. When the bars slammed shut behind me, I looked around. A hard bed, a dim light bulb, stone walls. This had probably once been solitary confinement for prisoners who broke the rules. I started crying. My sister wanted to send me away to an orphanage. Fanny had turned this place into a prison disguised as the world's greatest summer camp, and there wasn't even any signal down there. But eventually, I got tired of crying and started looking around instead. That's when I noticed some words scratched into the wall. If you're reading this, don't look for me. Ophelia Prescott. Where have I heard that name before? Just in case, I took a picture of the message and eventually fell asleep. The next day, after Agnes let me out, I suddenly remembered why that name sounded so familiar. I went back onto the forum and reread Charlie's story. His girlfriend's name was Ophelia, and her father, Nicholas Prescott, was a prison warden. It couldn't have been a coincidence, right? Wait, does that mean Charlie's story is actually real? I left a comment under his post saying I thought I'd found the place where Ophelia's father had been keeping her. I even attached the picture of the message on the wall. Charlie replied almost immediately. He asked for the camp's address and said he'd come as soon as he found people on the forum willing to help search for Ophelia. This place is a camp for girls under 15. I doubt they'll let you in. He replied that he'd figure something out, then logged off. After that, he disappeared for several days and didn't send any new messages. At some point, I started thinking again that maybe every story on the Quiet Room was fake. Maybe Charlie was just some random troll. Forget it, Ruby. You've already got enough problems. A few days later, Fanny set up another one of her happy breakfasts. Girls, I finally found the perfect camp counselors, and a security guard too, just to make sure nobody tries to run away again. Normally, I would have rolled my eyes, but then a guy and two girls walked into the cafeteria. They were all older than me, and somehow I felt like I already knew all three of them. Everyone meet Charlie, April, and Wendy. Wait, these were the kids from the forum. I remember their stories. Did that mean all of them were actually real? Breakfast ended, but the three of them stayed behind, whispering about something at their table. Hey, I'm Ruby. I'm the one who found the message on the wall.
Thank you. That was the first real clue we've gotten. April and Wendy read my story too, and they wanted to help.
Not gonna lie, sneaking in here undercover as camp staff was a genius move. Yeah, we got lucky they were hiring. From here, we can handle the rest ourselves.
We really don't want to drag you into this, Ruby.
Too bad. I'm helping with the investigation whether you like it or not.
All right, you've earned yourself a spot on the team.
Later, I brought them down into the dungeon to show them the message. Except when we got there, the spot on the wall had been patched up and painted over.
Someone did this very recently. The paint's still wet.
I bet Fanny did it. So even if I saw the message, I wouldn't be able to prove it to anyone. Fanny could be working with Ophelia's father. We need to find out more about her. And about this place, too. Charlie and Wendy decided to dig into who Fanny really was. Meanwhile, April volunteered to search through old records and learn more about the prison itself. Okay, so what do I do?
Maybe just keep an eye on Fanny so she doesn't suspect anything?
Oh, sure. They just didn't want me getting in the way. But I was gonna prove I could be useful too. So I waited until Fanny went outside, then snuck into her office. I searched the desk drawers, the folders, the documents, some receipts, but there was nothing suspicious. Then I noticed something that sent chills down my spine. I shoved it into my pocket and ran to find the others. They'd gathered in one of the empty prison cells to discuss the first results of the investigation. So, did you guys find anything out? This prison shut down 50 years ago, and it has nothing to do with Ophelia's father.
But Fanny Hatter is a whole different story. There's literally no information about her before she opened this camp. It's like she didn't exist.
I found something suspicious in her office. I pulled a sunflower-shaped brooch out of my pocket and showed it to them. Charlie and April looked confused, like they didn't get what was so important about it. But Wendy suddenly sat up straight.
There was this one story on the Quiet Room. A girl wrote about how her parents joined a cult called the Sunny Path. Everyone in the cult wore brooches just like this. Then the cult leader got arrested and the whole thing fell apart.
I read that story too. That's why the brooch seemed suspicious to me.
Wait, are you saying Fanny used to be a part of a cult?
100%. And now she's trying to build a new one here at the camp and turn herself into the leader.
Fanny could be helping Nicholas Prescott. There's a chance Ophelia is still here somewhere.
But are you sure we're even supposed to look for Ophelia? I mean, she left that message for a reason.
Ophelia is a really kind person. She probably wrote that because she didn't want anyone getting dragged into this. She didn't want people getting hurt because of her.
After that, nobody argued anymore. The next day, we started searching the prison grounds. Then, inside one of the old maintenance rooms, Charlie suddenly froze after spotting a pile of old clothes in the corner.
These belong to Ophelia. Oh no.
A second later, we heard footsteps. I barely managed to slip behind a row of metal lockers and stay hidden. Then Fanny walked in. Like always, she was smiling, but her eyes were as cold as a freezer.
Sweetheart, you weren't supposed to be in here. Where's Ophelia? What did you do to her?
Fanny's expression turned furious.
So you really are spies. I knew something was off about you three.
She fired all of them and kicked them out on the spot. I couldn't even say goodbye because Agnes escorted them all the way to the gates without taking her eyes off them for a second. So now I was on my own, and everything depended on me. I tried to act as quiet and invisible as possible while continuing to keep my eye on Fanny. Then, one day, I overheard her talking to Agnes.
You're in charge today. I need to visit the cemetery. I'm going to visit Ophelia.
I almost collapsed right there. Ophelia was at the cemetery? Did we fail to save her in time? I snuck over to Fanny's car and climbed in the trunk. Seriously, never do anything like that. First of all, it's dangerous, and second, it's unbelievably uncomfortable. Pretty soon, I felt the car moving. When it finally stopped, I waited a few minutes before carefully climbing out. Wow, a cemetery parking lot. Awesome. The place was almost empty, so I immediately noticed two figures standing near one of the gravestones, doing something. One of them was Fanny. I couldn't make out the second person, so I carefully moved closer and hid behind a tree. Do you think it looks realistic enough?
Yeah, it looks completely real.
I peeked out from behind the tree and managed to read the name on the gravestone, Ophelia Prescott. A chill instantly ran down my spine. I panicked and realized this was way too much for me. I just wanted to run away, but then I tripped over a branch and accidentally gave myself away.
Ruby?
Don't come near me! What did you do to poor Ophelia?
I'm Ophelia Prescott, and I'm alive.
Shh, we're literally trying to keep that a secret.
She's just a scared kid, and she's worried about me. She deserves to know the truth. My father really is a cruel tyrant. The first time I ever stood up to him, he locked me in the basement of our house, but our former family driver helped me escape. Then he left town because he was afraid of my father's retribution. At first, I wanted to ask Charlie for help, but I changed my mind. I didn't want to drag him into all this and put him in danger. So I started wandering from place to place. Eventually, I found that abandoned prison. That's where I've been living, until Fanny found me. I spent my entire childhood in the Sunny Path cult. Everything there was about control and obedience. When the cult leader got arrested, I was finally free. I moved to this town, found people who could make me new papers, and brought the abandoned prison so I could open a camp there. While the place was being renovated, I found Ophelia. She looked all skinny and terrified. When she told me her story, I realized I had to help her, because I knew exactly what it was like to live your whole life under someone else's control. So I asked my contacts to make Ophelia new papers too, so she could disappear somewhere far away from here. While the fake documents are getting ready, we figured this was the best way to make my father stop looking for me. We made the grave and sent him an anonymous message saying I died.
That's insane. But your dad's not the only person searching for you. Charlie's been looking for you this whole time, and people on the forum genuinely care about what happened to you.
Wait, so Charlie, April, and Wendy aren't Nicholas Prescott's spies?
No, we were all just trying to help Ophelia.
I kinda knew Charlie wouldn't give up. That's why I left that message on the wall for him, but I never expected so many people to actually care about me. I need to see them. Then we'll finish the plan. After that, I'm leaving this place for good.
We called the others, and the next day they came back to the camp. Ophelia finally met April and Wendy in person, and then she and Charlie stood there hugging each other forever.
The papers with my new identity are ready. I have to leave. Yeah, it's safer that way. I'll apply to colleges in your city, and this time, nothing's gonna separate us. Well, now that everything is worked out, I guess it's time to say goodbye. Ruby, Thanks for not giving up.
Seriously, one brave little girl brought all of us together and helped us solve this whole mystery. They're right, Ruby. You're really brave.
Take care of yourself, okay?
We all hugged goodbye, and then they left. Danny and I stood there for a long time, watching their car disappear down the road. Sorry that I, thought all that bad stuff about you. You just seem really suspicious.
I grew up in a very strange place, Ruby. That kind of thing leaves scars on a person. So sometimes I come across as different. But I should apologize too. Sending you to that solitary cell as punishment was wrong.
Yeah, that sucked. But without it, we probably wouldn't have gotten the happy ending. About a week later, rumors started spreading around town. People said that when Nicholas Prescott received the anonymous message about his daughter's death and came to visit her grave, he had a stroke right there in the cemetery. Now he's paralyzed. Camp ended way faster than I expected. I said goodbye to everyone and walked over to Maddie. She hugged me tighter than she had in a really long time.
I missed you so much, Ruby.
The drive home felt awkward. I kept waiting for my sister to finally admit she wanted to send me to an orphanage. But instead, she just smiled and talked about how well her big project at work had gone. And once we got home, things were strangely normal. Maddie started acting like an actual older sister again. She joked around, cooked my favorite spaghetti, took me shopping. It all felt so weird. So eventually, I decided to check her laptop again and read her messages. Maddie wrote that she'd almost signed the papers to send me away to an orphanage, but changed her mind at the last second. Giving up on Ruby would have just meant running away from my problems. We need each other. I love her. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I started crying. I guess I had too many pent-up emotions. That evening, I opened the quiet room again. But this time, I opened it to share my own story and ask for advice. Should I tell Maddie that I know she almost gave me up, or should I stay quiet? Oh, and by the way, if you haven't seen the stories about April, Wendy, and Ophelia yet, you can find the links in the description.